Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to the United Church Storytime. I'm Mrs. Deb, and I've got a really good story for you today. It's one of my favorites. It's called Our Tree Named Steve, and it's written by Adam Zweilbel and illustrated by David Catrow. Our Tree Named Steve. This is actually a letter that a dad wrote to his kids when they were visiting their grandma. Dear kids, a long time ago when you were little, Mom and I took you to where we wanted to build a house for us to live in. But in order to build there, some men had to come and clear the land. This is where they wanted to build their house. I remember there was this one tree, however, that the three of you could not stop staring at. Adam thought it was crying. Lindsay said it looked nervous, and Siri, who was only 2 years old, couldn't pronounce the word tree, so she called it Steve. I love you, Steve, she kept saying, and then Adam and Lindsay started saying it too, and before long, Mom and I got the hint and asked the builder to please save Steve. So they were going to build the house. They had to clear away the trees, but not Steve. The day we moved in, Steve was there to greet us. He quickly worked his way into your lives as a swing holder, a target, third base, a hiding place, and a jump rope turner. They used Steve in lots of ways, didn't they? And whenever our dryer broke down, he held our underwear with pride. Yes, right there in the center of our yard, this weird-looking tree grew to become the center of our outdoor life through all of our barbecues and campouts and dance parties. Or when Adam and Lindsay started getting crushes on the Simon kids next door, Steve adjusted to our every need. And it wasn't always easy. Standing tall through snowstorms in the winter. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of snow. Or when Uncle Chester napped in the hammock, it couldn't have possibly have been very fun. Not to mention the time that the sewer overflowed and Steve sucked up all the smelly water before it drowned poor Kirby. And then he got so sick himself that the tree doctor had to come and give Steve a haircut that made him look like a big thumb. He got so sick they had to take off all those branches to make him get better. Through the years, Mom and I have tried to show you, in a world filled with strangers, the peace that comes with having things you can count on and a safe place to return to after a long, hard day or a long trip. Which brings me to the point of this letter. Last week, a storm hit our area. Oh boy. And though we saved Steve's life a long time ago, this time we couldn't save him. Oh, Steve. The storm blew him over. Are we sad? Sure we are. But even in his final moments, when he could have fallen on our house, or Siri's swings, or Kirby's house, or Mom's garden, Steve performed his last trick and protected all of us to the very end. And friends like this are hard to find. Oh, Kirby looks sad. So when you come home from Grandma's next week, Steve will not be able to greet you as he's done in the past. I'm sorry. But please know that Steve will always be with us in our hearts and in our thoughts. This part of the story is really sad, isn't it? And in a different tree in the other part of our yard. See you next week. Love, Dad. Do you see where Steve is now? They used the wood to build a treehouse for them. So they could use their treehouse and always think of Steve and make new memories. Isn't that great? That's the end of our story. So sometimes things happen that make us really sad and disappointed. And no one likes to feel that way. But you know what? Even when something seems really bad at first, it might turn out to be okay, to be good. And that reminds me that just like the tree had fallen and wasn't there anymore, but it turned out to be okay because they made a tree house out of it so the kids could still enjoy Steve. And that reminds me that even if we're feeling sad or disappointed, Jesus has a way of turning it out to be okay. There's always going to be sad things, always. Everybody has sad things, but Jesus helps us see that there's also good things, okay? So remember that Jesus can always be in your heart and make you feel okay. So let's say a prayer, all right? Dear Jesus, thank you for showing us that if we're feeling sad, you are still with us, and you will always help us find good things and feel happy again. Amen. I hope you enjoyed the story. Have a great day. Bye-bye.